Hi, I'm Mr. Wyman, and I'm about to read for you a uh, mystery. And this is the mess mystery, mysterious mess mystery. Your job is to figure out which kid made this gigantic mess. And this is a bit of an assessment. So, this project is a math story. It presents a mystery. Mysteries are like puzzles. They present pieces of information that you have to put together to figure out the solution. Before doing any math, try to answer the following questions. What is this problem about? What are you asked to find? What will be the answer? Is it going to be a time? Is it going to be an amount of time? What is the important information? What are you going to be using to solve the problem here? And then once you've identified the numbers that you'll need and figured out what to do with them, you may then and only then proceed to do the actual math. And as you work on solving this mystery, write down what you do neatly. Be ready to share how you solve the problem. I provided graphic organizers of T-charts. You can also use a number line, um, but make sure you write everything down on paper with pencil so you can erase. And I want you to show me everything that you did, okay? So let's start our story. When Dad comes home from work, he finds a big mess waiting for him in the family. I totally forgot to mention what time Dad got home. It was 7:15, which is a little later than usual. He had a meeting, but you don't need to know any of that. So this is going to be the end time. Does the kids' times add up to exactly 7:15? If so, then they didn't have time to make the mess. Good luck with all your work. Finds a big mess waiting for him in the family room. He has three kids, Angela, George, and Rowan. Which kid made the mess? So that's the question. Each kid has the same excuse. I couldn't have done it because I didn't have time. The dad is kind and listens to each child's explanation, assuming that each kid is telling the truth. The dad adds up the times in his head, while two of the kids account for every minute of their afternoon. One of them seems to have had just the right amount of leftover time to make a mess of the family room. So which kid is it? It's your job to add up the times that the kids tell dad and help him solve the mystery of who made the mess. He's doing the math in his head, but you'll use these pages to do your math. And here's the T-chart, and you can put all the times over here. All right, let's figure out what the times are that we're working with. Angela is the oldest and the first to explain her timing. I had play auditions after school, which let out at 2:30 p.m., she told her dad. This is a little confusing actually, but school let out at 2:30 p.m. All right. So the which is the school. All right. So after 2:30 p.m., she then had play auditions. How long did the play practice last? He asked. We practiced for half an hour, Angela answered. Then I went over my friend's house for an hour. How did you get home? Dad inquired. I walked home, and that took me 15 minutes. After that, I worked on my homework for 2 hours. All right, let me pause here. There's all kinds of times going on. I want you to take your paper and highlight the times. In addition to writing them over here, you should identify them in the story so you can actually highlight 2:30, or I would even circle the 2:30 p.m. because that's like the starting time. That's when she first got out of school. So I walked home and that took me 15 minutes. After that, I worked on my homework for 2 hours. 2 hours, everyone exclaimed. That's right. When you get older, you have a lot more homework to do, Angela offered. Once my homework was all done, I watched two television shows. Each one was half an hour long. It's It sounds like you had a busy afternoon, the dad conceded. I have, and now you see that I couldn't possibly have made this mess. Angela was adamant that she had not contributed to the mess making. So you'll have to add this up and see if it adds up all these times to exactly or past 7:15. 7:15 is when Dad came home. George was the next oldest and the next child to explain what he had been up to all afternoon. I went over to Bill's house right after school, George began. For me, school ends at 3:10. Bill and I built models for 2 hours. Models of what? Dad was curious. Planes, George answered matter-of-factly. Bill's mom gave us both snacks that we ate for 10 minutes. Then she drove me home, and that took another 10 minutes. Dad was not so sure that his son had timed the snack eating and driving, and the dad doubted that each took exactly 10 minutes, but gave George the benefit of the doubt. In other words, he trusted or believed him. What did you do when you got home? Homework took me a whole hour, answered George. And what did you do when you finished your homework? Dad questioned. As usual, I called Bill. I wanted to see if he got the same answers that I did. Our phone call took exactly 20 minutes. You can check the call history. George seemed to be getting nervous. And what did you do when you got off the phone? Dad wanted to know. That's right, when you came home. I just hung up when you pulled into the driveway. If George's times all add up and he was telling the truth, he couldn't possibly have made the mess. So it's your job to decide or figure out, does George's times all add up from 3:10 to 7:15? You can use his T-chart or you can use a number line. The youngest child was Rowan. Just because he was the youngest didn't mean that he was guilty of making a mess. Dad listened to Rowan's explanation just as carefully as he had the other two kids. Rowan, what did you do after school today? The dad asked. I got off the bus at 3:45. It took me half an hour to do my homework. Rowan seemed ready with his times. Okay, Dad said reassuringly. I see you holding your chapter book. Did you do some reading? Yeah, I read 5 chapters. Each chapter took me half an hour to read. Dad looked impressed. That is a lot of reading, son. I know, Rowan agreed. My teacher says that I am a regular bookworm. Rowan was proud of this title. Did you do anything else? Dad inquired. I watched one of Angela's television shows with her, Rowan offered. Okay, this is where I'm going to put the video of me reading these accounts, okay? But you are going to, after having watched this video, read these texts to yourself carefully, highlighting the different times within the story. You could underline them with a pencil, you could circle them, but I recommend highlighting the times with a highlighter. Then if you use a T-chart, you could put the beginning time here, the ending time, which is 7:15 over here, and then add up all the different times. And you would list the times here and then add them, excuse me, to the starting time and write that here. And does it end at 7:15? If it ends at exactly 7:15, what's that mean? It means that the kid's story does prove that he or she was busy all the way from the end of school to the time that Dad came home, and there was no time to make a mess. If any of the kids runs out of time, or the time adds up to a little bit less than 7:15, what's that mean? They had time to make the mess. So, who done it? Good luck solving this mysterious mess minutes time problem, and I look forward to seeing your solutions.